because it's been mayhem work-wise in my little bubble, I have not recorded the last couple of days worth of Advent for Zakami. So, to remind myself come next year, let me make sure that I record to remind myself. So this one is day 5. I do like that one very much. And this one is day 6. And this is not showing up in the correct color. There it is. That's better. It's a little bit more purpley in real life. So what you're seeing right in there, that's the actual color, and you can see it turning. So that is all over, except for down here on this little bob, this little bits and bob down here. But it does have some variegation. This part's a smidge darker. That does pick up in the camera. But yeah, all over this is definitely purpley. Yeah, you can see it right in there. So that's all over. Not bad at all. And this one, yeah, that's pretty true to color as well without the light. So day 5, day 6. I did speak with the shop, Zakami, and they do have an Advent that was an option this year. And it's my fault, I just didn't see it. Maybe that's a good thing. 1 full skein and 24 minis. However, that Advent is not in the rustic wool that I have now. It was in a totally different base, not rustic. So probably your standard non-superwash. I'm sorry, your standard superwash. So something to remember for next year. They do have an alternative. Because what I have currently is 2 full skeins and 12 minis, which came with the picture frame, the letter, and the calendar. That was the gift, the extra gift, the calendar. So I think I'm just going to sit and knit for a little bit, or at least record myself knitting for a little bit, because I feel like it. It's been what feels like a rough couple of weeks, couple of months with one client that I have. They're just utterly chaotic, up and down, all over the place. No rhyme or reason. Mayhem. But come this Friday, I am not, as much as I can, 99.9%, trying to not pay them any mind until January 2nd. Why? Because I don't take a single day off during the entire year. I work myself into a frenzy, and then by the time Halloween comes around, I start telling everyone it is time for me to take December off be aware, I'm giving you 2 months notice. If you can't figure out what you want to do in the last 2 months, too bad. So sad. Because you're not going to get it out of me in December. I should have taken this entire week off. I really should have started on December 1st. But some projects just have to have design meetings that I demand, and they just had to be done. Proposals had to go out. Some proposals still need to be signed. So, yeah. There's only one project, though, that I'll be working on. And that's just basically kindly yelling at one utility company to provide an authorization to operate. Other than that, yeah. My main clients, they will not find me until January 2nd. Unless the world implodes and I have to wake up out of my slumber, but otherwise, yeah, I'm going in hibernation mode. So I will be finishing these socks, knitting on another pair of socks. Might start on the Advent scarf, because I do want to do that, but I still need to knit another blanket. I've been putting that off, it feels like, for a year. Well, not really putting it off. I haven't been putting it off, I just haven't done it. So that's my fault. Get so wrapped up in everyone else's need, which is work for me, instead of doing what I should be doing, which is knitting a blanket for someone that asked for it for 365 days ago. So I need to start that. Hopefully it's a quick knit. I do plan on knitting on pretty large needles, probably, I don't know, size 8 cable needle if I can find one in my stash. I just want it to be big. And I might double the yarn. It's all fingering weight anyway, so I might just double or triple it and knit it on really large needles. Actually, that's what I did for this one, now that I think about it. I doubled fingering weight and did this Harry Potter blanket. And this huge thing, it keeps going way over here, way down there. This one took me a month to do. So it is pretty quick, but I won't do this pattern. I think I'm just going to do plain old knit stitches and just knit. But I do need to do that, but I'm really itching to spin some yarn. I keep buying fiber, but then I don't do anything with it because I'm like, ooh, I'm going to spin yarn during holiday. I definitely will get the spinning wheel out, and I will be spinning. I might record doing that. That way I can remind myself how I hold the yarn and how I'm drafting. Because what I want to do is spin fingering weight, which means I need to learn that ply chain technique for sure. Because right now all I'm doing when I do spin, or when I did spin during the summer, I end up spinning like DK weight yarn, when there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I want to figure out how to really get good at fingering weight. But that simply means I need to spin this, but really it is, what's on my finger? apologies for the dry skin, but it's winter. Probably get some of my lanolin. There it is. I need to basically spin something as thin as that and then ply it up. So, reminder, that's what you need to do. And then ply it. Either do a 3-ply or 4-ply. Just remember what folks in your knit night told you to do. And then just do it and try. And if it doesn't work, you could always take it out and redo it, but otherwise just knit with it. And then just practice on another batch of fiber. I do like spinning though. It's terribly meditative. Like knitting is calming, but something about spinning, it's like mesmerizing to me. Definitely turns my brain off or puts my brain in a space where any thought of anxiety, worry, stress, all that hoopla that comes with dealing with craziness at work, it just kind of gets quieted. And it's almost like it gets put away in a box in your head, or at least in my head. And despite all the noise that it creates in my head, it's literally almost like it's put into a box and I don't hear it because I'm just spinning. I hear the spin of the wheel and my hands are just drafting. And I'm just paying attention to how I'm drafting and the yarn that's being spun. I'm weird. Oh well. It's enjoyable to me, and that's all that matters. I will say, knitting, spinning, crocheting, it's not a cheap hobby. I don't even think of it as a hobby though. I don't know what I think of the knitting and crocheting and spinning. I really don't crochet that much anymore, so right now my brain is empty. I will say that. This is basically brain drain at its finest, and my brain is literally rambling every thought that pops in, and it's coming out of my face right now. So, if anyone's watching, too bad, so sad. This is just what's happening right now. Literal brain drain. Brain drain while sock knitting. And yes, my voice is going to go in and out because I am freaking exhausted, and that's fine. It is what it is. And if anyone is curious as to what I have on my finger, if you're not accustomed to seeing this, because these are Hiya Sharps, and they will literally put a hole in my finger. Not fun. I use, it's a Dr. Scholl's, I think is what it is. It's a roll of, I think people put this on their feet, on their toes. And it's just material. And I just cut it into tiny little squares and put it on my finger. So much easier than trying to figure out a thimble and how to keep it on my finger, and it doesn't feel right when it taps on the needle. But someone, I think it was Earth Tones Girl, mentioned it one day, and It's called moleskin, or that's what she calls it. I'm not sure if that's what it's actually called in the stores. But it's basically you put it on your toes. Maybe if you have like a callus or something, you don't want your shoe rubbing your skin anymore. That's all it is. It's just, obviously sticky. Cut a little bit, and I can sit here and do this all day with a high sharp needle. Now, if I push hard enough, yes, this thing will sometimes puncture this material, but who would want to do this like that? That hurts. If you're used to high sharps, ever tried them, you don't do this ever. Or now it's punctured the material. So you gotta give it a good push to feel it go through. But yeah, it's a good way to protect your finger from getting a hole. It is not fun doing that because then you can't knit anymore. Not until it heals. And because, you call me cheap all you want, I don't care. I can take this off and set it back onto the backing, the plastic part that it peeled off of. Stick it back, use it the next day. Use it for like maybe 2 or 3 days, and then toss it once the stickiness wears off. So one roll has lasted me, I don't know, 2 years, and I am nowhere near finishing it. Not even halfway through it. So I will definitely vouch for this moleskin. You can find it anywhere, like at Walgreens or CVS, Wegmans, Harris Teeter probably, but definitely the drugstores. That's where I found this. Or Amazon, anything online probably would have it too. But yeah, because I do that, I think it's called being a pusher in knitting, because you're obviously pushing the needle. Just moleskin is a good thing to have. And again, apologies, brain drain. Good grief, it's 11 o'clock already. Apologies, dry hands. It is annoying me. Apologies if this is irritating to someone's ears. The knuckle cracking. Not something that I do very often anymore. I used to all the time, especially as a kid. I'd actually pull on my finger and then pull down, and all these knuckles would end up popping like crazy. But I guess the wives' tale of cracking your knuckles and all of a sudden your knuckles get larger and larger, that wives' tale did not work on me, which is good. It may not be a wives' tale though, but at least my knuckles didn't get any larger. Actually, I don't need this anymore. I am thinking of doing what I call reminder videos on how to just outright knit from the very start for a beginner. I've done a few little reminder videos on, how to knit in purl or knit one, purl one, and, make a stitch, Latvian braid, stuff like that. But to actually make a, like a true series, so to speak, instead of kind of when I feel like it, little reminder videos for myself. Because I have been asked by a couple people how to knit. They want to learn, and I'm more than happy to show folks. But if they don't live close enough to me, then I can always share the videos with them. And until I see them, they can use the reminder videos. And I can do what I've always done, which is, the really slow, up close how-to videos. But I'm thinking I'm going to do that at the beginning of the year, sometime in the first quarter of 2023. Gosh, I'm talking like a freaking engineer. The first quarter of 2023, sometime between January and April. Yeah, I need to get out of work mode for sure. Brain drain moment. I'm thinking of Rhinebeck because my knit night buddies, they're trying to plan a trip up to Rhinebeck, and they've asked me to go with them, and I really want to go. I've been wanting to see what Rhinebeck is all about, what the hoopla is, so to speak. I've been to Maryland Sheep and Wool. That was nice. Muddy. Well, it was raining. It had rained the day before. It was still a bit of a drizzle, and it was just mud. All of the tents, a good chunk were out in a field. Not cool at all. So that was kind of a bummer. Got good yarn. spend a good penny on good yarn, but that was years ago. I think that was 2019. Yeah, that was 2019. And then everything came to a magical halt. Sense the sarcasm in my voice. Or maybe you can't, because I always sound sarcastic. But yeah, 2019, went to Maryland Sheep and Wool. It was okay. But I really want to see what Rhinebeck is all about. And it may be no different, and that's fine, but at least I've seen it face to face. But it would be nice to get up and see the country side of New York. Been to the city, not a fan. I'm just not a city person. I prefer country, nothing more than suburbs. So I think Rhinebeck, from what I've seen online, it seems to be like a cozy little country kind of a town. At least I think it's a town. May not be a town. Might be just a small little city. But I do know there's going to be a lot of people. I'll still be in my mask. Is what it is. But I prefer not to be, but is what it is. Maybe come next October when Rhinebeck starts up, I'll feel a lot more comfortable, but yeah. But it would be nice to get up there, and I wonder how close Rhinebeck is to Sleepy Hollow. Because again, I'm a nerd, and I would love to see Sleepy Hollow while I'm up there. And I can just cram a whole bunch of work in the first 4 days of the week and the last 4 days of the following week, and take a long weekend and go to Rhinebeck. See what the apple cider donuts are all about. Like I need an apple cider donut, but hey, life's short. Might as well enjoy it in moderation. So yeah. Take a whole bunch of bags and bring home a whole bunch of yarn that I probably don't need and have no room for. But yeah, we'll see. That is exciting though, the idea of going to Rhinebeck. But we shall see. I should crochet again. Just don't know what I would do. I don't crochet anymore just because I'm so basically addicted to the needles. But I started out crocheting because I tried knitting. Didn't work. So just practiced and figured out crocheting. Crocheted a whole bunch of stuff. Hats, scarves, headbands, blankets, ornaments, cup warmers, And then finally figured out knitting because that's what I was craving, was figuring out how to knit. And I haven't crocheted since. Well, technically I still do crochet, just not like I used to. I only crochet basically when I'm doing a heel flap and gusset, or if I drop a stitch and need to pick it up from way down, or if I'm making baubles. I must say I hate making baubles. One, I'm not a fan of the texture of them. Just doesn't appeal to my eye. But making them is a nuisance to me. To each his own. And my own says I don't like baubles. But if I need to make a bauble, I'll use a crochet hook. Just makes it a little bit easier. Heck, I need to crochet. I just got a new crochet hook about a month or two ago. And I really don't know why, other than it looks like this. Isn't that lovely? Cannot remember if this is elderwood or what. Where did I get this? Whoops. Fudge. It's a shop that I found. Oh, it's where I got my yarn management tool. This came from a shop. It's in Ukraine called Letto, Letto Workshop. So this is all hand carved wood, and then with the metal tip. Otherwise, you can get a full wooden crochet hook. But look at the gloss and the color on this. Like, that looks oceanic. Atmospheric. I love it. And that's the light that obviously is sitting on top. But yeah. And actually in real life, it's a little bit darker. Let's see. There it is. That's the true color. Isn't that lovely? Gorgeous. So I definitely need to start crocheting so I can just use this hook overall. Otherwise, I might actually use it on the blanket that I need to make, since I plan to double or triple fingering weight yarn. I can use it for something, maybe throw a bobble in here or there. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to find a really good sock pattern that I want to add some beads to, because of course I bought beads earlier this year, made a reminder video on how to use the beads, and haven't done anything with the beads. Thus, good thing I made the reminder video, because I can't for the life of me even remember how I would add a bead on. I think there was a way using a crochet hook, or maybe the little wires that come with it, the beads. So I'm glad I did the reminder video. But yeah, I need to find a nice sock, or maybe a pair of fingerless mittens, and add some beads just at random. I was watching one knitting and design podcast. I believe the designer is called Creabea, B-E-A. I'll try and remember to put the name either, I guess maybe I can type it across the screen. Otherwise, I'll just remind myself and put it in the description. It's easier probably just to put it in the description. But she had knitted an all-white sweater and then put gold and silver embroidery. She just sewn in some gold and silver thread and then put beads at random where she wanted them, obviously, but just basically random spots all over the gold and silver. So pretty. So I may have to try that with a sweater as well. I do need to make another fisherman sweater. It's been so long. I think it's been 2 years since I made my first fisherman sweater. First and only. The pattern, though, God. Mistakes were definitely found. And the designer knew there were mistakes because I reached out asking for help. And they knew there were mistakes and never updated the pattern to let anyone know. They were just like, oh yeah, that is a mistake. Good catch. I'm like, I paid for this pattern. Why have you not updated this thing to let people know, hey, there's a mistake. Here's the correction. Hopefully all my notes are clear and make sense to me so I can redo that sweater. I do like it. Otherwise, I'll have to find another one, which should be easy. I got plenty of patterns. Not sure if I have any more Gansey fisherman sweater patterns, though. But I could easily find one if I don't have one. Well, I think I'm going to stop recording, finish my cuppa, finish watching my movie, and go to sleep. And actually, should be able to finish these socks by Friday. Yeah, because these are shorties. They're for a kid, so I think I probably need 3 or 4 more rows. Maybe no more than 6 rows, I would think. Get to the toe, and maybe not even 6. Somewhere between 4 and 6 rows at least. Put the toe on and be done and get to the next sock. So hopefully I will remember and feel like have the energy to finish up this, what I consider like a wannabe little knitting session. Knit with me. As you can tell, I'm not professional at this. I just like to record that way. It's kind of like a memory that I'm making, reminders for myself for the future. But I can hopefully have the energy and want to record myself knitting the sock toes, and don't know what type of toe I'll put on these. Probably just the standard wedge toe, but I do have that really good, I think it's called the umbrella toe. I believe I made a reminder video on that. I'll have to go back and look. but it was a good rounded toe. I might do that on this. But I do like the wedge toe more than rounded toes for some reason. All right,